Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Father and Son Pastime Podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
That's my dad.
How are you?
We are continuing with our 2021 free agent crop. We're focusing on 11 through 50. Towards the end, we're going to toss in our own honorable mentions since a few of the top 50 have already been signed. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Number 11 on our list is Michael Brantley. Dad, where do you have Michael Brantley going?
He's the new left fielder for the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, you really have a lot of Cubs shakeups going. So Schwarber's gone too, then.
Oh yeah, Shore is gone in the next 72 hours. The Cubs need people to get on base. Apparently, they did this huge study at the end of the season that there's so much swing and misses with the Cubs team, especially in the middle part of the order. Their so-called stars hit from 188 to 201, so they need somebody to set the table. They miss Zobrist.
Oh yeah,
tremendously. Brantley's a guy that gets on base, can play. He's better defensive than Schwarber, and then also you can see him hit either 1 through 3 in that lineup. Dependable hitter, seems to be a good teammate. I think great fit for the Cubs.
Brantley stays in Houston. They need outfield help. They lose possibly Reddick, possibly Springer. They keep Brantley. Boom.
Interesting.
Like I said, going to be efficient. 14, Justin Turner stays in LA, stays as a Dodger.
He's La La Land.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what you have him as the Dodgers,
Yes.
La La Land?
Yeah.
The hell out of here with that. All right. Yeah, I don't have anything. It just makes sense to keep him. We see this a lot in the Nationals and the Dodgers and obviously the Red Sox in 2018. You almost re-sign all of your group that got you that World Series ring as like a thank you, but that next year is a very big, almost sophomore slump where they don't replicate their numbers. We see that happen in 2019 in Boston. Mm-hmm. We see that happen this year in DC. The Howie Kendricks, the Dan Murphys. I'm sorry, not the Dan Murphys, but the just some of their players that really they thought they would re-sign and they didn't do any really quality players with.
I agree. There's rumors that Bryant might end up being a Dodger, and then they're going to put him in left field, and then Turner turns 36, so his days as a everyday third baseman might be limited. Maybe do a little DH if the National League has DH, but I think they need his bat.
Okay. Turning into Marcus Semien, who played pretty much his whole career in Oakland. Does he stay in Oakland or does he go somewhere else?
Toronto Blue Jays.
Hey, we got him in common! Yeah, they need some up-the-middle help. Bichette, I think, is more of a third baseman. Semien should play shortstop.
Never been so excited.
We didn't have that many in common in our first 10. We had a lot of off-air little disputes about that.
I think Toronto's a team to watch out for next year.
Thank you. Toronto and Seattle.
Okay, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah. Who needs... James McCann could be a starter, could be a number 2 catcher. I think he's going to go where he can start. Where does he start?
Phillies.
So I have him in New York as a Met.
Okay.
So that's that Real Muto or McCann switch.
Right.
Who gets the winner? Who gets a better catcher?
Okay, I'm with you with that one because I have him going someplace else, but I think he'd be a great fit in Phillies with the pitching staff they have. Apparently, very trusted with the pitching that he's been on the teams. I think it'd be a great fit.
I think one of us will be 0-2 and the others will be 2-2 with those predictions. I don't see someone else nabbing either of those catchers.
Okay.
Andrelton Simmons.
I got him going Phillies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, I see why. I have somebody up the middle that's a little different for the Phillies. But okay, so tell me why. So Simmons is a lifetime shortstop, almost unwilling to play another position. Phillies have a shortstop, so why do you think he's going to Phillies? Oh, sorry, no, they don't. They lost Didi. I'm so sorry. I was thinking of Gene Segura. So they need a shortstop. You're right.
That's
They need a shortstop. Done.
Right. And a great fill-in for that. And again, Gold Glove 4 times.
Mm-hmm. Quite good defensively.
Phillies need that.
Yeah. I also put my sort of skew on the Phillies in that answer. I have them moving Gene Segura from second to shortstop and signing a second baseman later on in this podcast. So that's why I thought in my mind they already have a shortstop. They're going for a second baseman. So Segura could play second or short.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a second. But I have... Oh, I didn't say where Simmons was going. I have him going to Cleveland after they trade Lindor.
Ooh, so he is going to... Where's Lindor going to go?
No idea. I don't know. This is a free agent speculation, not a trade speculation. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah. But he's not going to be an Indian for long.
Right. He wants out.
Well, the Indians want to get what they can for him before he becomes an outright free agent next year.
I'm with you.
Where were we in the list? Jock Peterson, one of my favorite outfielders. Can play any position in the outfield, honestly.
And I think he's really a lefty power hitter and all that stuff. Against right-handed hitters, he does exceedingly well. I have him going to the Giants, believe it or not.
They're pretty set in their outfield, though. Where's he playing?
He could do DH or left field.
They got Dickerson in left.
Well,
Darren Ruff is a good DH. Dubon's a great center fielder, and Yaz in right field.
you know what's so funny? But you brought up Yaz and everything else. Who would have thought that when he was playing Bowie and being mediocre in Bowie for all those years?
MVP candidate.
He got MVP votes?
Yeah, he did.
So, yeah, I think I did that more for depth, and Giants need bats, and I think him being a lefty specialist has a lot to do with platoon with the Giants.
Does he like being in the West, and he's going to play for a division rival in San Francisco?
I think he'll go where the money is.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's a good fit.
Sponsored by Yoo-Hoo, everybody. just plug in the Yoo-Hoo right there.
We got Jock going.
I have him going opposite coast. I have him playing in D.C. as a
Ooh.
right fielder or possibly center, depending what happens with Victor Robles. But I have Soto staying in left and Jock kind of being either right or center, depending on the need of the team. I think he's a really lovable face that the Nats kind of need right now. Nats had a lot of aging superstars. They were the oldest team ever on average to win the World Series, because their average player was like 30 when they won it last year this time. So I think they need some just a youthful face. I know Jock's getting older, but he looks like he's 22. No beard, really youthful looking. So I think he could sort of bring a lot of fun. I think his antics in the clubhouse are really fun. I think he could be what DC kind of needs to revitalize that team a little bit.
Okay.
Him and Soto being in the outfield together for a long time could be a really great outfield combination.
But I mean, there'd be a lot of strong left-handed hitters and everything else. So I'm with you. But apparently he does very well against right-handed pitching, left-handed pitching not so much. That's why I think he's platooned a good bit in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I want him to get a full starting job because I think he has a very high ceiling that no one's seen yet.
Okay.
Jose Quintana, no longer being a Cub, I'm assuming.
No.
Who do you have him going to?
Blue Jays.
Okay, as like an innings eater.
Yeah.
Yeah, from here on out, I think all these pitchers are more innings eaters. I don't think they're innings stars. Maybe former stars, but I don't see anyone turn the corner. I have him going to Houston. They need some pitching. Verlander's a question mark, obviously, right?
Yes.
For at least, I would say, half the season.
Yes.
They got Greinke, but after that, they have a lot of Hispanic pitchers, and I thought he would fit in down there, honestly.
Interesting.
So I also could see a dark horse of Miami getting him and being sort of a veteran specialist to a very young pitching staff. So I have him going to Houston, but Miami would not surprise me at all.
He's a 5-inning pitcher now.
Yeah. No duration, no stamina.
Correct. And then even the Cubs had him out of the bullpen, so he may end up being with the team as a 5-inning starter or a long relief kind of person.
Like Urquidy. I'm not sure I was saying it. Urquidy? Jose Urquidy for the Houston Astros, so it'd be a very similar player.
Yeah. So I'm thinking he's a really typical player that won't get signed to January, February, just because they're going to see how it rolls out. He will not be one of the...
He's not the star signing that anyone was looking for.
No.
But Houston doesn't have that much money this offseason either, and they won't be able to re-sign all of their people that have left.
Yeah.
So
it's a shame the Cubs gave up so much for him. Yeah, I don't think... I think he was one of the bad trades for Theo.
Mm-hmm. So I think there's two great DHs on the hot stove this offseason. Nelson Cruz is number 1, and Carlos Santana is number 2. Mm-hmm. I think Santana's days at first base are over. Nelson Cruz is like 39 or 40, but he's still crushing the ball.
Yeah.
So I think two teams desperately need a DH. Neither one's Minnesota, by the way, here. Desperately need a DH. Desperately need someone to hit the long ball. One is Seattle. One is the Chicago White Sox. So it's a fight for who gets either one of these people. If whoever gets Cruz, the other one gets Carlos Santana. I have Cruz going back to Seattle to finish out his career.
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as you mentioned Seattle, I think he's going to stay with the Twins. But being Seattle...
Real inventive. Real risky.
I know. But again, think of the whole. If he leaves, I don't think the Twins have a replacement.
Not great.
But the Twins are the team that scores a lot of runs. So they win a lot of games, 10-8, 9-6, whatever. He's a big part of that.
Yeah.
So for him to leave would be catastrophic.
Right.
So I think the Twins will do anything they can to keep him.
They would use Marwin Gonzalez, if they keep him and don't trade him, as either a DH or to move Donaldson to DH and use Marwin as like a third baseman. Yeah. So it's not great. You're right. It's not a. No one can offensively produce the way Cruz can in really any offense. So obviously, when we get to Carlos Santana in this list, he's going to go to the White Sox for me.
Okay.
But either one could go either place, and I think it's a good fit either way.
Yeah, I think he, his longevity in the major leagues is really pretty great. If you really think about the teams he's been with, and so many teams have kind of like said he's getting too old, too old, too old. He keeps playing and doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like about Nelson Cruz.
He reminds me a lot of Adrian Beltre. The
Yes.
older he gets, the better he gets.
Yeah.
A fine wine, if you will. Jackie Bradley Jr. is not staying in Boston, so where he's going?
I'm gonna go to Phillies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, we were talking about the weak center field of Philadelphia earlier. Okay. You really think the Phillies have a lot of money, I think, with some of your picks.
They do. And then I think they were some money came off the books, but they were so disappointed that they didn't do well this year, and they finished where they did. They really thought they were going to be the leaders of the National League East, and when they finished below 500, the Phillies fans are in uproar. They fired their GM. They got rid of him, and now they're going to have a new start. I just think they're going to be very aggressive this offseason to put a winner, and they're going to try to really, overtake the Braves. Won't happen, but they want to overtake the Braves.
I have him going to the Diamondbacks.
Wow.
So, a couple things with Arizona. Jackie Bradley sort of reminds me of Adam Jones in a way, where defensively and offensively very similar. Size-wise different, but defense, arm, offense, kind of similar numbers. They had Adam Jones for a few years before he went to, I think he's playing in Korea still. And they don't have a center fielder. Diamondbacks, I think, will be buyers on this market. I just don't know how intensive buyers they will be with a lot of money locked up in Madison Bumgarner still. So
interesting. Yeah, I can even see him getting. The Cubs have always liked
JJ.
Yeah, and I can see the Cubs making a play for him.
You really have just so much bias. We got a Cubs fan over here that just thinks they have all this money. They're going to trade like half their team, but also reinvigorate their payroll.
I do. I think they're going to have the new president, Jed Hoyer, has said the lineup will look totally different next year than last year, and the wheels are in motion to get rid of the people that didn't have great years. I'm thinking the only two stars they keep are Baez and Rizzo. And I think everybody else is on the block.
Including Contreras? Your catcher?
He may be on the block. They say they can get more for him than they can for anybody else.
I agree, because he's a power hitting
and they got a good backup catcher.
All right. We'll have fun with Chicago.
Okay.
James Paxton.
I'm going to Red Sox.
Oh, thank you. A lot of people do have that.
Yeah.
I am going to Seattle, as you're seeing. Seattle.
He's played Seattle.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going back. I thought it was going to be him or Tejan Walker going back to Seattle, and I have Paxton heading back to Seattle. I'm not done with Seattle yet. They're still going to get a big name on the list.
Well, as much as I mentioned the Cubs, you're imagining the same with Seattle.
I'm not the biggest Mariners fan, but I liked them in the 90s with Griffey, but I want to see them get a championship.
Yeah.
And I think they have the chutzpah to do it.
Okay.
So anyways, again, I said this earlier with starters. Who knows where they'll go? But I had Paxton in Seattle. Is there a specific reason he goes to Boston? Is there? Why do you think he's going to Boston?
Think of the rotation.
They don't have much.
They'll need anybody they can. Yeah. Him being a left-hander, I think, is huge. And I really think that he would fit in probably like a 3-starter. Right now, I can't tell you the rotation of the...
It's 3 people.
Okay. And then one of their folks got hurt, I thought. The one they got from the Orioles a long time ago.
Rodriguez?
Yeah. So they need a left-handed starter. He might be the best of the bunch right now.
So in addition to Sale, another lefty?
Will Sale come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't know how quality, but yeah, Sale's a fighter.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and plus he's signed to a long-term deal.
Right.
Technically, David Price is still on the Red Sox payroll too, so he's still on the paid rotation.
Yeah. I just think they need something. And we'll see what happens, but I thought with his injury, Sale's injury, it may not be right away in the 2020 season. It might be mid-year.
2021 season.
2021. I'm sorry about that.
All right, moving on to Walker. I have him going to Minnesota. So a little kind of shake up around where all these starters are headed to. But I think Minnesota will be linked to a lot of those 3-4 guys.
Interesting. I got him going to the Cubs.
This is getting biased here.
The Cubs are only have 2 starters.
Yeah, I don't think they have a team.
And then what they did, they tried to trade for him last offseason. It didn't work, and I just think that they like him even out of the when he came out of high school and everything. I just think that he's going to end up. They're going to give him a deal, fourth starter, fifth starter, even though his track record's not the best. I think they're going to try, and he's still relatively young at 30.
I think the Twins are one pitcher away from having a really dominant rotation, and I think losing Cruz, they actually might have to realize, hey, we got to put more money into our pitching to not give up so many runs because we're not going to be scoring as much. But that's just my idea.
Well, but at their ballpark, they like a high-scoring team.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so does Seattle. Garrett Richards, an innings eater extraordinaire with nothing special to him. Where's he going?
Phillies.
Baltimore.
No way! Baltimore makes a move?
Baltimore's the only move they make. They signed this guy to like a $3 million one-year contract.
Tell me more.
You get to sell him as an ace. It's the only time in Garrett Richards' career he gets to be an ace.
Do they have the money?
They have $3 million, yeah. They have a lot of money if they choose to, but I think they'll wait to spend to next year's offseason class that I think will be much more talented. They already spent a lot of money on Iglesias, keeping him.
Yeah, and he was probably the most, the steadiest player they had, and really solidified that infield. That's amazing. I don't think I have the Orioles signing a player in the top 50.
Out of 50 players, out of 50 teams, I think I have, I don't know, everyone signing at least one person. But
okay. Very interesting.
Maybe not the Detroit Tigers, but who knows?
Wow.
Or Pirates. They're pretty rough teams. No, I do have Detroit signing one. I don't have a Pirate signing anyone.
Okay.
I have Detroit signing somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said Philly just as an innings eater?
Yeah. I think that, they need him.
He's not great, Dad. Garrett Richards is not great. He should not have earned this list of the top 50.
Well.
But whatever.
They just need a back of rotation kind of guy, and I think he fits the bill. And I think they're going to be spenders.
Okay, well, talking about the Phillies is where I think Colton Wong heads up. He ends up as a second baseman. They move Segura to shortstop.
Oh, that's what you mentioned before?
Yeah.
I got him going to Toronto.
Do you have multiple people going to Toronto for the same position? You have Semien. You have Marcus Semien.
Oh, he's a shortstop.
Okay. And then Kevin Biggio's at second.
Wong's better.
No, he's not.
Well, Wong's a Gold Glove second baseman.
Kevin Biggio's 24 years old. You had no idea what you were doing.
No, I like it.
I will
like
have a side bet. We have a bet that whoever gets more right out of these top 50 gets $20. I'll do a double bet that he does not end up on the Blue Jays team.
Yeah, okay.
If that's what you want.
Well, even the expert put Adam Blue Jays.
Again, they have Blue Jays written off all these 50 teams. If you look, I bet 30 out of 50 of these names have Blue Jays written as a possibility. They're linked to everybody.
I think they're going to move forward.
Colton Wong's not going to end up in Toronto.
Okay.
Brad Hand, I have him going to Oakland. So Oakland's losing Hendricks as a closer.
Okay.
They need a closer. Brad Hand has proven that he cannot be signed for $10 million. So people are like, whoa, I don't want him. Here comes Billy Beane and the lovely Oakland Athletics saying, hey, nobody wants you. Here's a couple bucks. Come play for us. Get your value up next season. Get a bigger contract. Oakland Athletics.
Phillies.
It's Phillies and the Cubs are your only two people signing people.
No, I got all
That's your
kinds
NLCS apparently.
No, they need a left-handed reliever.
Get out of here.
They do.
Well, anyways, I have Trevor Rosenthal going to the Phillies, so I guess I can't talk. I had Colton Wong. It's very funny. We're just mixed matching there, but I don't think I still have other people going to the Phillies. I just don't have as much.
It's funny.
I don't know. It's the same reasoning, I guess, but whatever.
I got Rosenthal going to Padres.
Good for him. Yeah, I can see that as an option.
Yeah. So there you go. So you go. We're filling holes with those different players.
Trevor May, another reliever. I have him in the Diamondbacks.
Okay, I got the next page here.
Well, I mean, it's all like the same reason. Who doesn't need a great 8th or 9th inning guy?
I got him going to Marlins.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, they need some veteran bullpen
Yeah, they need a closer.
So I think he'd be great there.
Let's see, did I pick any of these closers to go to Miami? Oh my god, maybe I didn't pick one to go to Miami, but that's a good pick. They need a closer.
Well, thank you very much.
Blake Treinen is leaving LA and going to
the Red Sox.
Seattle. It's becoming just a comically horrific show at this point where we're saying Seattle or Phillies or Chicago, every other player. But they need pitching as well. They need bullpen.
So do the Red Sox.
Yeah, but the money's going to run shy for me after George Springer, and I had
some money's going off the books too.
Not much. That's if you trade people.
LBJ made a good amount of money.
LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, did not play for the Red Sox. He was down in Texas on his ranch, dead. Moving on. God almighty. Tommy La Stella, let's talk not a pitcher. Who needs a second baseman?
Cardinals.
They have Edman. Tommy Edman.
Wong's leaving.
They don't need Wong.
Right, but I'm just saying they need.
So you just need a backup second baseman?
Well, don't forget he could go DH. He's a great left-handed bat. St. Louis needs offense. I think he's a great fit for the Cardinals.
I'm going to the Mets, who do need a second baseman to replace Cano.
Oh.
But Edman is either going to be a second baseman or third baseman. Carpenter is either going to be a second baseman or third baseman. The only way that if there's a hole in St. Louis is if there is a DH in the National League. Then I see Carpenter going to DH, Edman going to third, Stella playing second. But right now they seem okay with second and third being Carpenter and Edman.
Carpenter played a little bit of first base this year.
I know. He played first base, third base, second base. He's a great utility guy.
Okay.
But yeah, don't forget they have Goldschmidt at first. So he's not moving.
Right. I just think he'd be a great fit offensively for the Cardinals that needs offense.
He'll be linked to a lot of people who need a backup second baseman. But he can start in New York. 1-year contract.
Yeah, well, yeah, perfect. I think that's a great fit.
Because we keep on saying Philadelphia, I have Corey Kluber, a former Cy Young winner, just being like a new Jake Arrieta for them and replacing Jake Arrieta. So Kluber signs with Philly.
Well, this is probably one of the most interesting folks on the list because before his injury, he was up there in the top pitchers.
Can you imagine if you're Corey Kluber and you have a Cy Young and Garrett Richards is above you on this list?
Yeah.
It's just
injuries.
Aggravating.
Yeah. I have him being the marquee signing of the Red Sox.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Again, the Red Sox are also getting just a lot of these calls now. All right, Yadier Molina, if he doesn't sign back with St. Louis, baseball doesn't make sense anymore.
Well, it doesn't make sense because he's going to the Yankees.
No, he is not. Who's catching for the Cardinals then?
They have to find somebody.
They don't have anybody.
Right, but I'm just saying the Yankees would love that leadership at the catching position.
So that means Gary Sanchez is traded?
Yeah, because they want to get rid of him. He's a horrible defensive catcher.
I know he is
at the season's end.
I know he is that.
At the season's end, they had a JV catcher with the Yankees catching those important games. Sanchez was on the bench.
When we get to Wainwright, jump to Wainwright real quick. He's only a couple more on your list. He's 35. Right. Where's he going in your
Cardinals?
Mind? That doesn't make any sense. Wainwright's been on record saying, I will go where Yachty goes. I will only pitch to Yachty or I retire.
Okay. But I'm saying the Yankees are going to make a huge play for him because of his experience and his leadership.
He'll be a Cardinal. Okay. Baseball makes sense.
Okay.
All right. 33 is Charlie Morton. He's signed.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Braves.
Great trade. Great signing for the Braves.
Let's talk about Jurickson Profar. A Ben Zobrist, if you will, that can play second base, maybe a little third, maybe first, maybe corner outfield positions. Center even.
Came up as a shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
I got him going to Nationals.
To play
everything.
Just a super utility guy?
Yeah.
Okay, Ben Zobrist.
Yeah. I think he can play a lot of third base.
I have him literally replacing Ben Zobrist of the 2015 Kansas City Royals. That's their only signing of the offseason. Jurickson Profar, super utility guy. Ends up playing left field for him to replace Alex Gordon.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
Two former second basemen, him and Merrifield, in the outfield. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Profar play a little second, too.
Yeah, Merrifield is underrated.
Yeah. But he's in Kansas City, which is probably a reason.
Yeah.
Why he doesn't get as much attention as he does. So Wainwright, to me, is going back to St. Louis. You have him in St. Louis, but you have conflicting picks. Robbie Ray, I have staying in Toronto, obviously, because that's been noted. Next person on the list is Cesar Hernandez, another super utility guy.
Red Sox.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah. But again, who did I have as my super utility guy? Oh, I'm going to get to my super utility guy in a second. It's one of our honorable mention picks.
Okay.
But if they don't get my pick, I can see them being in on Caesar. He's going to Detroit. Now, I know you're going to say, why is Detroit making a signing? So Caesar is one of those older veterans that can train some of those.
Okay.
They got two decent up-the-middle infielders. Nico Goodrum, who is not great offensively, but could use a little veteran experience kind of training him, and then Willie Castro as a possible shortstop or second baseman. So I think he can be there to sort of show him the way, if you will. And I think Detroit could benefit from a 1-year, $8 million contract. Caesar gets to borderline star on a team.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's had a pretty good career with the Phillies.
Yeah. I can also see him starting at third base because right now they have a guy that's either going to play first for them or third for them. Candelario.
Yes.
And
former Cub.
They don't know if he's going to be first or third.
Yeah.
So they sign him. Candelario's first baseman.
He's offense, not defense.
First baseman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Albert Pujols.
But yeah.
Albert Pujols was good defensively.
Good power hitting corner infielder.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Carlos Santana, I obviously said this could go Seattle or White Sox for me. I had Cruz going to Seattle, so White Sox get Carlos Santana as their DH.
Nationals.
If there's a DH?
Regardless.
So to replace Ryan Zimmerman at first base.
Ryan is on a downward thing, and they could platoon. Somebody could be DH, and someone could play first.
I don't think that's a lot of money for a platoon player.
Well,
okay.
But don't forget, Nationals want to go back to the promised land.
Santana wants to win. He's been on the cusp of many World Series. He was on that team that lost the Cubs with a 3-1 victory, the Cleveland Indians. He wants to have a World Series ring before he retires.
Right. Nationals were world champs.
The Nationals are in a downward spiral. The Nationals finish 4th in the NL East next year.
Well, I think with the ownership,
bold prediction.
The ownership they have, they're going to make a play for next year to move up in the rankings.
They're not going to.
Okay.
Mets, Nats, Phillies, Marlins, Braves. Marlins stay good.
Okay. I think Phillies are going to move up.
Phillies and Marlins are tight for me.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, do people do the scouting report for the Marlins or not? But
Phillies are fixable.
And Marlins are young.
Right. But I think, if you look at that lineup with some added pieces, the Phillies are pretty impressive.
If they get the pieces we think they're going to get.
Yeah.
And if pitching's healthy, there's a lot of ifs.
It's a bullpen.
When the Phillies and the Marlins swapped, I'm going to get this right. They traded for, who do they get? He's now a free agent. Anyways, they traded Sixto Sanchez and Jorge Alfaro, and now Alfaro is a starting catcher, and Sixto Sanchez is a potential all-star as a pitcher. So
throws 100.
And they have to face them
multiple
times. So I just think there's some real talent in Miami that isn't that far away from truly contending. I don't think this year was a fluke. I think people slept on them. They swept the Cubs. They swept the $190 million Cubs on a $60 million
And the Cubs scored,
salary.
2 runs the whole series.
I thought 1, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think they got shut out one time, and then...
I would like to see Miami versus Philadelphia games next year. I think they could be interesting.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun.
Dave versus Glass.
Yeah, I think it's Remuto was the one they traded. Wasn't that the big trade?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Which was, talk about that worked out for Miami. Hey, we're not going to be able to resign this guy.
Yeah.
And then boom. But yeah, I think you're right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Alex Colomé, I also have him going back to the White Sox. They need a closer. Colomé makes sense to stay there.
Got him White Sox.
Cool. Something in common. We'll compare our list and the 5 in common we have.
Yeah.
We'll talk about. Mike Minor is my Cub. One of my only Cubs choices on here.
Ooh, Nage.
I don't know why that got that reaction. I'm saying you need pitching.
It's nice to hear the Cub word come from you. I haven't gone to the Phillies like many others.
There's only 5 starters on one team.
I know, but a left-hander, they need left-hander desperately.
J.A. Happ.
Cubs. You know why? From Northwestern.
He goes to San Francisco.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, he replaces Samardzija, basically a cheaper version of Samardzija.
He may be out of baseball.
I think he might be too.
Yeah.
He's got a trailer home to go to. I finally talking about Boston and their bullpen. I have both Kirby Yates and Greg Holland going to Boston.
Yates, Red Sox,
and
Holland,
Phillies. How much money do the Phillies have?
More than you know.
No, they don't.
More than you know.
You know what you did? You just doubled down on the Phillies. You went all in on the Phillies, and you said, I'll be right on half these. I'm going to be wrong on definitely the other half, but if I write Phillies for 50 teams, I'll be right at least 6 times.
Yeah, just like David S. Pumpkins.
Oh, Jesus, oh my God. Okay. Smiley signed with the Braves. Good signing for them.
Yes, very
John
good.
Lester, I also have returning to the Boston Red Sox to retire as a Red Sox. As do you.
Yes.
There's your innings eater. I'm sorry that's what you are now, Lester. But one last year contract to finish out his career.
Can we just say kudos for what he did in Chicago? He bought the first round at 4 different bars.
Yeah.
In Chicago.
$30,000 on beer in a weekend.
Yeah. And apparently he got the Miller Lite or one of the beer folks to co-sponsor it.
It was Miller.
So he said, these are the 4 bars that go there. Have a drink on me. And then he spent a really good amount of money. He's such a great teammate that when the Cubs won the National League pennant and other pennants along the way, Lester used to pick up the bill for the parties. And there's rumors that one party was over $20,000 that he picked up the tab for.
He just did that this weekend. So yeah.
Yeah, but think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
And I think Theo was saying that in his goodbye speech, that John was really instrumental on a lot of that stuff. And he said, hey, we'll keep it going. And he called a caterer, and he called, everything coming in on the cuff. And he said, what's going to cost you? He said, here's my credit card. And went from there. Great teammate.
I think he's that last piece of the puzzle that incites the Red Sox to try a little harder rather than to just... The Red Sox in 2020 just folded. They just said, we're not going to win. Here's our heart.
From day one.
Yeah. They just gave up. So I think Lester, and hopefully a healthy Sale. Can you imagine you getting yelled at by Lester and Sale?
No. Yeah, they're
Sale's 6'5" and a twig, and he scared people in the dugout that one World Series.
Yeah.
They were behind like a run. He was like, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
He said some other things that then Alex Cora said his English wasn't too good, so I didn't understand. But I just like it. I think that's a fun team. And it would be really great for the city of Boston to hopefully reinvigorate that team a little bit.
I think there's some cities in America that have to have great teams for baseball to survive. Boston, New York, Chicago are three of the main ones. Mm-hmm. And I think those are the ones that really are pro baseball. So if those cities do well, baseball does well.
Where's Rick Porcello going, a former Red Sox as well?
Going to the Cubs.
How... I just don't understand. There's 5 starter rotations.
They have 2 starters. They need 3 more.
Rick Porcello is going to the Blue Jays.
Good.
Again, maybe not. Not the Cubs. Just any comment I'll accept that he'll go to the Orioles before he goes to the Cubs. Stop saying people go to the Cubs. Cole Hamels, where's he going?
Angels.
Thank God he didn't say Cubs. Why Angels?
Joe Madden.
Okay.
And Angels need 4th, 5th starter. He's a 5-inning guy now too.
Yeah, sadly.
Yes. But him and Madden got along exceedingly well. Madden loves him. He goes to the Angels.
I have him coming to D.C. To sort of be that back-end starter after Scherzer, hopefully a healthy Strasburg, a Corbin, and then...
Wow.
And then,
another lefty would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mark Melancon?
Atlanta?
Nationals. Same reason they need more in the bullpen.
Okay.
Atlanta, I can see him going back to Atlanta. That's where he left from this year.
Yeah. He did well.
The Italian stallion, Anthony DiScalafani.
Red Sox.
I haven't gone to the Angels, so I think we had similar thoughts on maybe Cole Hamels. Because I have basically Cole. Yeah. You have Cole being the Angel. I have Anthony being an Angel. Yeah. Again, I'm just offended at this point how many people you're saying are going to Boston, but whatever.
No, because
people aren't making the team at this point, Dad. There's too many starters in Boston and too many starters in Chicago. These poor teams that need pitching, Arizona's going to be like, what happened to us? You just got to... I know 4 teams in baseball. I'm just going to write their names. I know the Phillies. I know the Cubs. I know the Red Sox.
I think I covered...
You said a lot of Angels now, too.
I did.
Seattle's got no love from you.
Okay. No. Seattle had a couple.
Who?
The guy from Japan.
Oh, okay. One player. Yeah. Not an impact player.
Yeah, but
that also has a shortstop.
I had good thinking on that. But I went through and I looked at money. And I think money's going to dictate a lot of activity when it comes to free agents. There's only so many teams that are going to spend money going in there. And I think a lot of 6-year free agents and a lot of the...
oh my God, your next choice is a Cub. I cannot with this. Just say it. Chris Archer.
Cubs.
Oh my God. He's going to Minnesota. Odorizzi doesn't sign with the Twins. They settle for Archer. They're kind of similar pitchers in my opinion.
He started the Cubs. Cubs been trying to regain him for about 6 years. This is their chance.
This is the Cubs podcast, apparently, where it's infuriating to our 22 subscribers.
It's going to be a lot more now than once people in Chicago get a hold of this.
I don't even know anymore. All right, so that's the Tim Dirks list of 25 or 50. I'm sorry. There are 5 players that have already been signed as of today, the November 27th of this podcast. So we decided to pick up 5 more names and talk about them. There are honorable mentions. Jed Lowry is an aging 37-year-old, 36-year-old middle infielder, second and shortstop. Where's he go?
Dodgers.
To just be a backup.
Right, because don't forget they were really hurting this year for infield depth. And if Kiki leaves, that leaves an infield position, he'd be perfect for the Dodgers.
Kiki Hernandez is one of our other honorable mentions. I have him going to Oakland to sort of retire as where he kind of really was a star. He wasn't really a star in Boston as that shortstop after Marcus Semien is leaving. Nick Markakis, retirement, stay with the Braves, or new team?
Retired.
I have him staying with the Braves as sort of, especially if there's a DH in the National League.
Yeah.
But to finish his career as a 4th outfielder, Again, got a lot of playing time this year with some injuries and some COVID issues
Yeah.
on his team. So I think Braves.
But when you saw him in the postseason,
I know.
it wasn't good.
No.
So
I was surprised he actually hasn't retired and gone out with Alex Gordon and Hunter Pence. They all kind of came up at the same time.
yeah.
He could also surprise us all and go back to Baltimore to finish out his career. I don't think he will,
Yeah.
but it's not a 0%.
Yeah. He still has a house in Baltimore.
Yeah.
But I just don't think the Orioles will bring him back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, Dad, Edwin Encarnacion was like number 5 on our overall list, and now he wasn't even listed by Dirks.
Yeah.
So Edwin Encarnacion, where's he going?
Staying with the White Sox.
Okay, so obviously I have Santana being their DH option. I don't think you did.
No.
You have Santana going to where again?
I got to look that up for you. What number was he?
38.
Very good.
I have a list.
Nationals.
Oh, okay, so you have him.
Yeah.
Okay. I have Encarnacion returning to where he got started as well. A lot of good homecoming stories, but to Toronto. I know he started as a Red, but he wasn't really known for being a Red. If you ask most people don't even know he was probably a Red. But a Blue Jay, they kind of need that extra power. And if they do play in Buffalo, that's something where you could sell to Edwin, being like, hey, you want to hit 40 home runs? He's like, yeah, definitely want to hit 40 home runs. So he can just DH there.
Yeah.
Sean Doolittle, surprising in my mind, snub from this list for being such a great 8th inning / closer for Oakland and the Nationals for so long. Where's he going?
Stays with the Nationals.
I can see that. I hope he does. I think he's a fun player. I think the fans chanting around here with "do" is really fun. I'm going to Arizona. I think Arizona needs a little bit better bullpen help, and they didn't really get any for my top 50.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
No, I just think that
processing it, you're like, wow, interesting.
No, I mean, I like it. I just don't know if the Diamondbacks are going to be that involved. I just don't know how much money they have.
Outside, I hope they're more involved, or else it's going to be a 4th place finish for them.
Correct. Yeah, they didn't do well this year.
It's also kind of tough for Colorado and Arizona to walk into an offseason and know you're going to lose against LA and San Diego. And San Francisco is climbing and getting a lot better. They have a lot of youth, as we talked about earlier. So I just they don't have pitching. Like they desperately need it. So they're going to be linked to a lot of back end starters and bullpen help.
I can see San Diego being a really top team, and if the Dodgers falter, Padres are going to get right in there.
Yeah, and a lot of World Series teams do falter, especially in April and May, just due to some injuries. People don't have the same energy I guess, as they did, because they played into November basically, and then they partied through all the rest of the year. I mean, why wouldn't you? Just won a World Series.
Yeah.
And to close it out, Kiki Hernandez, a great utility infielder and even outfielder for the Dodgers at times. Does Kiki return home, or does he find new pastures?
I go him to Oakland, and kind of like him and Jed kind of switch places.
Okay. I have him coming to Boston, and I think I can see him finally as a starting role at second base. If a lot of options don't work out, that you've said a few other people like, oh, well, Cesar Hernandez could be this person, maybe Colton Wong's been linked to Boston, but especially if Pedroia is done, and I do think he is, Kiki could start at second, and that could make a nice little platoon option of Chavez and Dahlbeck at first base, because Michael Chavis is not a second baseman, he's just kind of short. He's also not a first baseman, but I don't know where we're going to put him eventually, but Dahlbeck I think is a pretty decent first baseman. Kiki could make a fun second short combo with Xander Bogaerts.
And he's got power, so he would really do well with Green Monster.
And he deserves to have a full season of play, much like Jock Peterson. So I'm excited for both of them to leave the Dodgers to find teams where they can start and not just platoon.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that is our list of 50. Thanks for staying with us. We were perfectly right on time, about a minute for each of those 40 players.
That's amazing.
So thank you for watching. If you watched all 40 minutes, oh my God, you're our best friend. Give us your thoughts in the comments below on anything. Again, if we go 10 for 50, we're lucky. If Tim Dirks goes 10 for 50, it's luck at this point. No one really knows what the future of baseball is. We just can all agree that we want baseball. We want it to stay. We'll do whatever we have to do in whatever versions we can. So we miss baseball. This helps us get through the winter. Hopefully, thinking about and expecting baseball to come back, get you through the tough months of COVID ahead.
Yeah, and don't forget the winter meetings are virtual, so what's going to spin out of winter meetings, who knows, because most of those deals happen, face-to-face and in the the suites of the hotels and all that, and now it's all virtual. I don't know what's going to happen with the winter meetings.
I'm always excited for trades and shakeups,
Yeah.
and I really don't mind being wrong. So if I'm way wrong and I go 0 for 50, great. That means baseball is not what I expected at all, which makes it more interesting and it keeps that surprises coming.
Yeah.
It's sort of when you do these things, you don't want to be right. Because if you go 50 for 50, you're like, I know baseball. Baseball is easy to predict. And it's not. It's unbelievably hard to predict. Just like, is he going to throw a fastball or a curveball? And you have no idea what's next at pitches, and you don't know what's next is going to happen for the next of baseball. So it's going to be fun to watch and to see unfold.
Hopefully opening day will be in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be great.
Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a happy holiday.
Bye-bye.